Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for joining us today for our webinar. This afternoon, we will be talking about the basics of stock market investing, and we hope that we will be able to equip you with the basic knowledge that you need in order to start investing in the Philippine stock market. So we are here this afternoon to learn about how we can grow our money. Now, if I ask you, why do you want to grow your money? Or simply, why do you want to invest? Some of you might have the same reasons. Simply because you want to achieve your goals and dreams for your family. Or for some of you who have children, maybe you're starting to prepare for your kids' education, or perhaps for your own education. Maybe you want to pursue an MBA. For those who are single, maybe your goal is just to travel the world. And some of you are working hard and you want to invest your hard earned money in order to buy the things that you would like to have in your life, like your dream house or even your dream car. And for some, simply because you just want to live a comfortable life. Maybe some of you might be at the stage of your life where you are already starting to prepare for your retirement. And those are just probably some of the reasons why people want to grow their money. And what do we do in order to prepare for those things? We save money. We know that there is certain amount allotted for a certain time or thing or certain kind of expense. And what do we do with our extra cash when we are saving? Normally, the traditional way is we put it in a piggy bank or we save it at home. But nowadays, when we save money, we usually put it in a bank. And what do we get in return? Savings account in a bank allows you to keep your money in a safe place while it earns a small amount of interest each month. Assuming that the interest rate return is at 1%, say you have 100 pesos, you put it in a bank, and you will come back to it after a year. How much will your money grow, or how much will you get after a year? You will get an extra 1 peso less the 20% tax that will be collected by the government. So we will be left with 80 centavos. So the thing with bank interest is it is quite low. Plus, there is this one thing that makes the value of our money less and less each time, and we call that inflation. What does inflation do to our money? Before, if our burger looks something like this, let's say at 39 pesos, these days it will only look like this. Inflation plus low bank interest rates actually hurt our savings. Why? Because we are saving money and we want to make it grow, but it's not growing at the rate that we want it to. Some people have this misconception that when they are saving, they're already investing. But these two are entirely different things. Saving money is the process of putting cash aside and parking it in an extremely safe place. For a lack of better terms, nag-iimpok ka lang or nagtatabi ka lang. When you are investing, that is the time that you are making your money grow for you. You know that you can earn interest by putting your money in a savings account, but savings accounts generally earn a lower return than investments. Investments have the potential for higher return as they may appreciate or go up in value over time. Now, we deserve to make what we earn work even better for us by keeping a long-term view on our finances. So given all these things, we must know that it is not enough to just save. We must save and invest our money. And there are a number of investment instruments available in the market, like real estate or a business venture, although you would be needing a big amount of money to invest in this. For those with smaller capital, investment could be in the form of time deposits. Another option that you have is to invest in stocks. So this afternoon, we will discuss the basics of stock market investing in a very easy to digest way. We will cover the what, when, where, how, and why of stock market investing. So let us start with what. What are stocks? Stocks are just shares of ownership in a company. This is basically an investment in an already existing business or company that has been around for many years. So just think of a company as a huge pizza. Inside that pie, we have millions of slices, such that one slice is equal to one stock or one share of that company. Let's have an example. Ayala Corporation is one of the biggest businesses in the Philippines, and we all know that it is owned by the Subelde Ayala family. But in reality, thousands of people own Ayala Corporation. That's right. Thousands of people and other companies are co-owners of Ayala Corporation. Ayala Corporation has more than 600 million shares or 600 slices. The stock market allows you to own 10 slices, 20 slices, or even 100 slices of Ayala Corporation. Now, how is that possible? In order for any company to expand, it will be needing a capital. And when a company wants to raise money for possible expansion, one option it can take is to sell a minority part of ownership of that company to the public, whom we call as investors. So let's take SM as an example. We all know that SM is owned by Henry C. SM was once a private company before it got listed in the PSE. So way back then, Henry C wanted to expand his business by putting up more branches of SM, not just in the Philippines, but even outside the country. Henry C needs money in order to do that. So he decided to give up a portion of his ownership to the public to have access to capital. A company may sell stocks or share of its business, and that happens during IPO. IPO stands for initial public offering. It's when the company is selling its shares to the public for the very first time. If you buy shares of a company during the IPO period, that transaction is said to occur in what we call the primary market because you, as an investor, you are buying shares directly from the company. Now, let us say that you would like to be a part owner of SM, but you were not able to buy shares of SM during its IPO period. You could do so by buying shares of SM from those investors who were able to participate during the IPO. And that transaction is said to occur in what we call the secondary market or the stock market. Investors could buy or sell shares of listed companies from or to other investors. If you buy a share of a company, you therefore become a part owner of that business. You are called a stockholder or shareholder. Kasosyo ka. You are one of the 1,000 owners of SM, for example. And because kasosyo ka, you also get to have access to the company's earnings or profit. Because you are a part owner of SM, you share with the success and failure of that company. Ibig sabihin, kapag kumita si SM, kikita ka. Kung malugi si SM, pwede ka din malugi. As a stockholder, you have voting rights. You are represented by the number of shares that you own in a company. Every year, listed companies gather their stockholders in an annual stockholders meeting or ASM. And most of the time, companies announce during ASM if there are some important decisions that they need to make for the business. As a stockholder, you have the right to vote or you have the right to agree or disagree with their decisions. Of course, the more shares that you own, the louder the voice that you have. There are 269 listed companies in the Philippine stock market. This means that you have 269 companies or businesses that you could choose from. An index is an indicator to measure the performance of a group of securities. The listed companies in the stock market are classified according to the nature of their businesses. We have industrial, financials, property, mining and oil, holding firms, and services index. And we have what we call the PSEI as our main index. If the Tokyo Stock Exchange has Nikkei 225 and Frankfurt Stock Exchange in Germany has DAX as its main index, the Philippines has PSEI, which stands for Philippine Stock Exchange Index. The PSEI is made up of the 30 largest, highly capitalized, and most liquid companies in the stock market. They have a proven track record, which means that these companies perform well even on bad times, and the daily trades are in high volume. Of the 269 listed companies, we pick the top 30 to represent the overall performance of the stock market. These top companies are often tagged as blue chips by the analysts. The name blue chip came from the game of poker where the blue chips have the highest value. And these companies are chosen based on criteria. The 30 component blue chip companies of the PSEI. So you can see on your screen, you have there the Aboitiz Group, the Ayala Group, BPI, Globe, you have Jollibee Foods Corporation, Meralco, Megaworld, Metro Bank, Petron, Pure Gold, Robinson's Land Corporation, San Miguel Corporation, Security Bank, and the SM Group. You know, actually, most of these companies, because they are well known in the national economy. And I'm sure most of you are familiar with these 30 blue chip companies because we patronize their products. You have probably heard of the terms bull market or bear market. We use the behavior of these two animals when they attack to signify the upward and downward trend of the market. And why do you think so? Because when the bull attacks, its horns are going up, hence the bull or bullish market. And when the bear attacks, its claws are going down, hence the bear or bearish market. These are just some of the stock market terms that you will often hear. So let us now proceed to the when part. When should I start investing? This is just a simulation table. Let's say you will start investing at 25 years old. Your annual investment is 60,000 pesos. This table just tells you that your money could potentially grow higher if you start at 25 years old as compared to when you start late or at a later time. Now, here's a gentle reminder before you put your money in the stock market. Make sure you have savings or emergency fund. The reason for this is when you invest your money in the stock market, the value of your stocks or shares may go down, and you don't want to sell your shares at an inconvenient time. This value is not a guarantee. This is only assuming that your money grew by 10% a year. So if you already have the means, when is the best time to invest? You should start now. Now, where can I buy and sell stocks? Of course, in a place where it is available, in the stock market. Stock market or the PSE is a place where people converge to buy and sell stocks. The stock market is just like any other market. You think of the PSE as a fruit stall. These are oranges. These oranges are shares of Ayala Corporation. Mangoes are shares of Meralco. Apples are shares of PLDT and so on. So it's just like shopping. This time, you're just shopping for listed companies. Let me share with you a brief history of the PSE. We used to have two stock exchanges. Those were the Manila Stock Exchange, which was established in 1927, and it was one of the oldest stock exchanges in Asia. So imagine it has been here all along, and yet many people still don't know that we have a place where we could actually invest our money. In 1963, the Makati Stock Exchange was established. Although both traded the same stocks of the same companies, these two exchanges remained separate bourses for decades. So they were competitors until 1992, when President Fidel V. Ramos ordered the unification of Manila Stock Exchange and the Makati Stock Exchange to become the present-day PSE. So right now, we only have one operating stock exchange in the Philippines, and that is PSE. We just maintain two trading floors. One is in PSE Ortigas and the other one is here in PSE Ayala, which is our principal office. The PSE is not a government institution, and many people would think so because of the Philippine on our name. But the government arm that's regulating us is the Securities and Exchange Commission. And SEC needs help in regulating the market, so they gave us the SRO status, which stands for Self-Regulatory Organization. This means that we have the right to formulate our own rules and regulation, and if a market participant, say, violates our rules, we could penalize them. We're also publicly listed, so you could buy shares of the PSE for 238 pesos per share. And our mandate is to ensure a fair, efficient, transparent, and orderly market. Let's have a way back Wednesday. This photo was taken from the old Manila Stock Exchange. This is the old trading floor, and these guys that you see here are the stockbrokers. These are the boardmen. Back then, everything was manual. When trading starts, the investors will call the brokers, give their buying and selling orders, and the stockbroker had to shout their buying and selling orders to the boardmen. The boardmen will write everything manually on the blackboard. They will match the orders manually as well. But now, brought about by the technology, we now have an electronic board. Everything is electronic. There is already a trading system that matches the buying and selling orders of the investors. Even the shares are electronic. Before, when you want to sell your shares, you have to go to your stockbroker and present your stock certificate as a proof of ownership of that company. But now, we converted them into electronic shares. We now practice what we call the scriptless trading. The stockbrokers are not employees of the PSE. They are employees of their own stock brokerage companies. So each booth is numbered and each represents one stock brokerage company. So they just come here in the PSE during trading hours. Let's now understand how to read the quotation report. The symbol displays the symbol or code of a listed company. For example, ALI is Ayala Land Corporation. TEL is PLDT. GLO is Globe. We are not required to memorize these codes. It's for trading purposes only. The complete list of the listed companies can be found on our website. So after the symbol, you have the prices, the bid and asking price. In the stock market, we call the buyer's price as bid, while the seller's price is called asking price. The bid column displays the highest buying price in the market, and ask displays the lowest selling price. A buyer and seller must meet at one price in order to have a transaction. If a buyer and seller agree at one price, that will reflect to LTP or last traded price. The LTP column displays the last traded price for a specific stock. Our trading system just computes the highest and lowest transaction price for the day, and that will be under the high and low columns. After the prices, you now have the volume. So these are just units or quantity. This column displays the total number of shares transacted for the day. And the peso amount of that volume is called value. LTP times the volume is equal to value. Value is just the peso amount of the transaction. So what is the trading schedule? We are open every day except weekends and legal holidays. The trading system starts accepting buying and selling orders at 9 o'clock in the morning, and the system will start matching your orders at 9:30 a.m. If you post your buying order and there is a seller who's willing to accept your price, then there will be a transaction. There will be a continuous matching of orders from 9:30 a.m. up to 12 noon. There is a market recess at 12 noon and resumption would be at 1:30 p.m. Matching of orders will resume until we close the market at 3:30 p.m. So for more information about the stock market, these are your resources. You have the newspaper. So if you're reading newspaper, we have TV. If you're watching ANC News, they give live market updates. If you are from Metro Manila, you could visit the PSE library located at the 27th floor of PSE Ayala. So the library is open to the public during working hours. The PSE websites, our main website is www.pse.com.ph, and our dedicated market education website is www.pseacademy.com.ph. We are also on Facebook and Twitter, so if you want to be updated of the market education activities or even the activities of the PSE, and if you want to know more about our latest offerings, like if you want to attend our webinars and other trainings for free, follow us on Facebook and Twitter. PSE Edge. EDGE stands for Electronic Disclosure Generation Technology. So this tool is for the listed companies where they can share this their disclosures or announcements. For example, listed companies declaring dividends. They are required to announce or disclose that information to the public through the PSE first, so through the PSE Edge, before they could release it to the media. This is very important for investors because if you want to know about the latest news about the company you're investing in, you could visit www.edge.pse.com.ph. There's also a downloadable version or downloadable app of PSE Edge available for both iOS and Android devices. You could download this app. The name is just the same, PSE Edge. If you have the app, you could favorite the top companies that you like, and you will be notified every time there is an announcement from that company. Now, let's go to the most interesting part. How can I earn in the stock market? There are actually two ways to earn in the stock market. First is through dividends. Dividends is a company's way of sharing its earnings to its stockholders. So as a stockholder, you can also earn when the company earns. So it can either be through the form of cash, stock, or property dividends. For cash, let's say you own 100 shares of Jollibee Foods Corporation. For example, Jollibee did well last year and malaki ang kinita niya, and it decided to give out, say, 10 pesos cash dividends for each share that you own. So since you have 100 shares, the amount of check that you will receive as cash dividend is 100 shares times 10 pesos. So the check will be given to you by your stockbroker. If it is a stock dividend, if you hold 100 shares of Jollibee and it declares 20% stock dividend, you will get an extra or extra 20 shares for free. What is property dividends? Say Jollibee has ownership in a company. Let's say Company X. So Jollibee may give out Company X shares to its stockholders as a form of dividend. If you are new to the stock market and you would like to know the companies who regularly give out dividends or their dividend history as well, you may request that information from our research department, so PSE's research department, or from the PSE library. Or you could first take a look at the PSE website. You go to the market and information and click market reports. You will see free downloadable quarterly dividends reports there. And the basic way is through price appreciation, or when the stock increases in value. Say, for example, you bought Jollibee at 1 peso, and suddenly many people would also like to buy Jollibee because of maybe because they heard the good news about the company. So the people who have these shares could also sell them at a higher price as the demand increases. So for example, when you want to go on a vacation, when you book a flight during the peak season, when everyone's going on a vacation, the prices are higher than the usual, right? In the lean season, they put the prices low to entice people to go on a vacation. So in the season when no one else wants to go. It's the same with stocks. When no one else wants to buy that stock, the price could be low. And when people start to want to buy it, the price could go higher and higher. So this is one way to earn through price appreciation. So remember that you could only realize your gains once you sell your shares. Now let us know the easy steps on how you can start investing in the stock market. If you wish to be a stockholder of a listed company, you should be required to open an account with a PSE accredited stockbroker. So no investor can go directly to the PSE to buy or sell stocks. You need to open a trading account, and it's just like opening a savings account in a bank. So we would like to remind everyone to deal only with the PSE accredited stock brokerage companies. So there are two types of brokers or stockbrokers. You could go for traditional or online stockbrokers. And what's the difference? If you go for traditional, you have to call your broker or agent or salesman who is in charge of your account every time you want to buy or sell a stock. So you will call that person and give your buying and selling order. And that's the stockbroker will execute the transaction for you. Now you may call your broker, send him or her a text message or email in order to give your buying and selling orders. For online stockbrokers, when you open an account, they will give you your own username and password. It's like an online shopping platform in which you can see the list of stocks. So you have there the 269 listed companies whose shares are available for buying and selling, and you just need to click or choose the company, click buy or sell. So when you have an online account, you post your own buying and selling orders. So the stockbrokers will guide you on how to navigate their platform when you open an account with them. So it would be easy. There are 133 PSE accredited stock brokerage firms. So 25 of them are online and the rest are traditional. So if you want to know the complete list of the accredited brokers, you visit the website, you click on trading participants, you have there the directory. If you want to view the complete list of the brokers, then there is a tab for online stockbrokers. When you click this tab, you will see the complete list of online stockbrokers. So when you click on their logo or company name, you will be directed to their official website. Now you may ask, how much do I need to start investing? For as low as 500 pesos, you could start opening an account with a stockbroker. So the minimum initial amount varies per stockbroker. Some requires 100,000 pesos, 25,000, 10,000, 5,000, and the lowest amount they require is 500 in order to open an account. But of course, you need to fund your account after in order to buy stocks. Now, second step is to post your buying and selling order. So don't be overwhelmed with this table. The board lot table just guides you with your buying and selling orders. So, for example, you want to buy shares of a listed company. Could you buy one share of Jollibee, one share of Meralco, one share of PLDT? So, no, there is a minimum number of shares that you are required to buy for each stock. So, the lot size determines the minimum number of shares that you're required to buy and sell. The tick size determines the minimum price movement. So prices of stocks move through a scale of set price fluctuations. So prices are thus adjusted along these fluctuations at the time. So let's have an example. FMETF or First Metro Exchange Traded Fund. The price is 121.70. So the price falls from 100 to 199.90. The lot size is 10, meaning you are required to buy at least 10 shares of FMETF. If you want to add more shares, you could do so by buying basta divisible by 10. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and so on. Now, we mentioned a while ago that the stock market is just like any other market. And when you go to, say, sa palengke, if you don't like the price of the seller, what you do is you haggle or you make tawad. Tumatawad ka sa presyo. Now, paano ka tatawad sa stock market? Pwede bang kung ang presyo ay 121.70, tatawad ako ng 50 pesos? So, the tick size guides you dun sa scale or ito yung nagsiset ng price fluctuations kung ano yung basis mo ng pagtawad. So, if the price is 121.70, the tick size is 0.10. So, you could make haggle 120.60, 0.50, 0.40, 0.30, and so on. Now, if you are a seller, of course, you would like to sell your shares at a higher price. So you could do so using the tick size. So you need to add dun sa price ng stock 121.80, 0.90, and so on. So let's have another example. Globe. The code is GLO and the price is 2,000 pesos. So it falls from 2,000 to 4,998 pesos. The lot size is 5, so you're required to buy at least 5 shares of Globe. And it means na lahat ng stock na nagfo-fall ang presyo from 2,000 to 4,998 required to buy at least 5 shares of that stock. So if you want to add more, you could do so basta by increments of 5. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and so on. And the tick size is 2 pesos. So if you want to sell your shares at a higher price, ito yung guide mo. So 2002, 2004, 2005, and so on. So pwede ba akong magbigay ng asking price ko na 2,022 pesos? Yes, basta divisible by the tick size. So that's it. The last step is to settle within T plus 3 days. So T plus 3 stands for trading day plus 3 days. So for example, today is the trading day. Bumili ka ng shares. Today is Wednesday. You need to add 3 more trading days. So Thursday, Friday, and Monday. And these are the fees and costs that you will incur when you will buy or sell stock. So there is a broker's commission fee, and the minimum rate is 0.25% for every transaction. The maximum is 1.5% for every buy and selling transaction. Now, the brokers charge you a commissions fee for the service that they offer. So normally, the online brokers charge you the minimum rate, 0.25%, and the traditional brokers could charge you anywhere between 0.25% to 1.5%. So applicable for both buying and selling orders. There is also a PSE transaction fee that's 0.005%, applicable for both buying and selling orders, and the SECP clearing fee, 0.01%. SECP stands for Securities Clearing Corporation of the Philippines. So, dito nagaganap yung pag-transfer ng fund and pag-transfer ng electronic shares and pag-settle ng fund. There is also a stock transaction tax that's 0.5%, applicable only when you are selling. So let's have an example. Say you are buying 1,000 shares at 5 pesos. So instead of paying 5,000 pesos, you need to add broker's commission fee, assuming that the broker charged you the maximum. So this could go lower if they charge if you have an online account. So plus the 12% VAT, so that's 84 pesos. There's also a PSE transaction fee that's 0.005%, 0.25, and the SEC clearing fee is 0.1%, so that's 0.50. Instead of paying 5,000 pesos, the total amount that you need to pay is 5,084.75. So very minimal lang yung fees and costs that you will incur. Say you're selling 1,000 shares at 6 pesos. So instead of receiving 6,000 pesos, you need to less the broker's commission fee. That's 100.80. PSE transaction fee, 0.30. SECP clearing fee, 0.60. And the stock transaction tax, again, only applicable when you are selling. That's 30 pesos. Instead of receiving 6,000 pesos, the total amount that you will receive is now 5,868.30. So these are the fees and costs that you need to consider when you are buying and selling. And this is the trading cycle that happens within T plus 3 days. So the buyer will give his or her buying order to the broker. The broker will transmit that order to the system of the PSE. Same goes with the seller. Seller will give his or her selling order to the broker. The selling broker will transmit that order to the PSE system. Now let's have a recap. What are the 3 easy steps? First is open an account with a stockbroker. Next, you post your buying and selling order. And lastly, you settle within T plus 3 days. So it's as easy as 1, 2, 3. And it is not true na the stock market is very complicated. You see that very easy lang yung steps in order for you to start investing. Now let's move on to the why part. Why people invest in stocks? Of course, for wealth generation. Another reason is for liquidity. Let's say you have a condominium unit or you have apartment units and you don't have savings account, you don't have cash easily available for you kapag ka nagkaroon ng emergency. Now, could you look for for a buyer of your condominium unit if you need the money? Could you look for a buyer of your apartment units right away if you need the money? So in stocks, relatively you could buy and sell quickly. So you don't need to worry na whenever I need the money, will there be a seller or will there be a buyer of my shares? And another reason is for ownership of big businesses. So you may consider na why do I need to worry about thinking of a good business? How will I earn dito sa business na to? When in fact, I can just partner with those businessmen who already have established or well-established businesses. So the stock market allows you to buy small portions of big companies. Or pwede naman na mag-isip ka ng isang business that you think will grow or kikita. But the thing with business, there are a lot of things to be considered, di ba? There are a lot of things that you need to know. Kailangan mong isipin ang competition. And you must have an expertise. Or if you want to do away with this hassle, pwede ka namang maki-piggyback or makiangkas na lang sa success ng mga well-established businesses that are listed in the PSE. So, siguro naman you would not think that in the next few years, mawawalan ng tao na pipila para bumili ng Jollibee Chicken Joy? Or nakita ko na ba na nawalan ng kotse na nagpagasolina sa Petron? Or ng tao na nag-shopping sa SM? So, there are a lot of things to be considered before you dive into any investment. So those are just some of the several reasons why people invest in stocks: for wealth generation, liquidity, and for ownership of big businesses. So we've covered the what, the when, where, how, and why of stock market investing. So it's now up to you if you want to grow your money at this rate, or at this rate. Thank you very much for attending this session.